Chit and Chat. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chit and Chat with Coach Rose AJ and Coach L. Kelly. That's me. We're here to talk to you today about weight loss success that Coach Rose AJ herself has experienced, and we want to know all the details. And that's what we're going to learn today as she shares some good information with us about her journey of weight loss. We do want to say that we are not medical professionals. So if you have any sort of medical issues or questions, please relate those to your doctor. We're just two coaches imparting our own knowledge and sharing our wisdom with you. So hello, Coach Rose AJ. How are you today?
Well, how are you, Coach L. Kelly?
I am good. It's all well. I'm excited today. I'm excited to hear all of the information that you're going to share with us. You've had such a successful weight loss journey. You've lost 64 pounds, and I think that is just amazing, all natural. I think it's just on your own. And I think that weight loss is such a hot topic because, some people look at it like it may be an impossible feat or really hard to do. So we all want to know, how you had such a success and were able to do that. And that's what we're talking about today. And so thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your journey. Also, too, I just want to highlight really quick so I do not forget, you do have a podcast or YouTube that's called Carnivore Girl for Life. Is that
Uh,
number four? The number four.
Number four, yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
because you
Yes.
share a lot of your journey there too. So I want to make
Hmm.
sure that users have that information. I'm going to plug that again, but
Okay.
Carnivore Girl Life, make
Yeah.
sure to hit that up because you share some interesting information there as well. So I want to get started and just learn a little bit more about your journey. What
Okay.
led you to even go on the weight loss journey? And what got you to the point to where you are now, sitting here 64 pounds lighter? How does that happen? What did you do? We all want to know.
Yes. So I'm going to just give a really brief, maybe 1 minute overview of how I actually got started on this segment of my weight loss. I had had issues with eating since I was 3.5 due to childhood trauma, and that rolled into adulthood. Everything that I did revolved around food. And even though I had had successes, they weren't actual successes because I still had a lot of issues surrounding food. I was still obsessed, right? And eating foods that weren't that great for me. Now, if we fast forward to how I got started this time, in 2018, I had hit my ultimate rock bottom. I was doing the perimenopause thing, the menopausal thing in my career. I was questioning everything, hit rock bottom, and God told me that if I tried to get to my next, through my next 7 years of service to get to a 30-year retirement, that I would be in a depression so bad that I would not be restored to my normal optimal health and level.
Mm,
So even with that start, knowing that I believe in a higher power, knowing that I needed to move and move quickly, right? My daughter introduced me to exogenous ketones, and then I went down the rabbit hole of learning about ketones, the ketogenic diet, and intermittent fasting. But
mhm.
even with that overwhelming knowledge, Coach L. Kelly, I still did not make the move to begin, exiting my career, to begin, making health improvements, right?
Right.
So, although I knew that I needed to change my career or just leave as a whole, we paid off our house that fall. That was the biggest step towards me getting started on this. And then I quit consuming alcohol in October of 2018, but
Hmm.
I didn't make any dietary protocol changes until December 2nd, 2018.
So it was kind of an ongoing journey. You started one thing first with the alcohol and then changes after that. How you mentioned that you were at your rock bottom. Why was this rock bottom for you? How did you know that that's the place where you were at and that the only way to go is up from here? Like, how did you know that's where you were at that time?
This rock bottom was a little different. We all at different points in our lives, be it either financial, be it through relationships or the children leaving the home, we all hit a lull in our life, right? We're never going to
Right.
be the top 10 or 20% all the time. So this one was a little different because my daughter was grown, right? She was
Right.
married, had a family of her own, and I was tired of the rat race, if you know what I'm saying. I was tired
Yeah.
of the rat race. I was really questioning, do I need medical benefits? Do I need this? Do I need that? I was thinking, Hawaii somewhere, sell the house, go to
Right.
Hawaii. How would you survive in Hawaii? I don't know. So it was that kind of rock bottom that I just didn't want to do anything any longer. In my mental health,
Right.
although I was functioning, and when I say I was functioning, I was just going through the motions, right? I
Mm-hmm.
always know how to smile. I always know how to pretend to be happy, right? But all while I was very angry. There was a
Right.
lot bottled up inside. I was very resentful about certain situations that had transpired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this one was totally different because I didn't have to hustle and keep on that superwoman cape to raise my child, to
Right.
pay the mortgage, right? So it was different in that sense that I could literally give up, and I actually did let life beat me into submission, right? It
Wow.
literally beat me into submission, right?
Right.
And I'm usually fighting for the underdog. I'm
Mm-hmm.
usually fighting against the bullies of the world. But during that time, I really had to say that I had to advocate for myself because even my spouse, he wouldn't be able to take care of me if something happened to
Right.
me. That's just being real. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Mm-hmm.
just me, myself, and I against the world. And I had to figure it out or stay at the bottom, right?
I mean, wow. I mean, it's interesting. I'm glad that you bring up mental health because a lot of times people go on a weight loss journey and they just think about the weight loss, kind of like the end result, but not thinking about the things that you have to let go of, not just the weight, but also maybe the mental pressures that you have to let go of to open up that door to weight loss in the first place. Was that a big part of your journey, needing to let go of certain things or certain past traumas and things like that before you could get on that road of, taking care of your health and losing the amount of weight that you did?
So that was probably the biggest motivating factor. What I didn't understand, or what I didn't really want to intellectually and emotionally realize, is that the fuel that I was putting in my body was, wreaking havoc on my mental health and
Mm,
well-being, right? It
mm-hmm.
was, I had mood swings, and it didn't help that I was going through, life changes, hormonal imbalances, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And
Right.
so, with that being said, I left service and I ended up cashing out my retirement so that I could live a couple of years and be financially okay. And I never
Right.
want another person to have to cash out their future finances in order to be restored today when they can ask for help or get help along
Right.
the way, right? Not
Right.
make that crucial choice. So, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
Well, I think that, like I said, it's just very interesting that everyone wants to lose weight, but not always are able or in a place where they can do the work to transform. And so I was asking, was,
Mhm.
basically you transforming your mind, was that a big part of you being able to transform your body, like past traumas, putting those aside or dealing with those? How easy or hard was that for you? I mean, because you have to go through some sort of process to get to this kind of transformation to do that.
Yeah, so I think the process that I did is just really stopping blaming other people, stop holding other people or expecting other people to be responsible for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, I have to save myself. I have to figure it out.
Right.
Regardless if it takes me the rest of my life, I have to figure it out. So somewhere around December 2nd, I don't know, I just woke up and said, let's just go. It's go time, right?
Right.
So I started December 2nd, 2018. And Coach L. Kelly, this is what I want to tell you. I did everything wrong. Even though I had a wealth of knowledge, I did
Mm-hmm.
everything wrong. So I did the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting simultaneously, but all the while I was still compulsively overeating, taking days off, cheat days,
Right.
binging, just the whole nine, right? So there was a lot on my plate. And this is what I want to say, that people have to know that although there are dietary protocols that may be complementary to the way that they want to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
intuitively they need to follow their own inner wisdom. So I tried titrating down on the carbohydrates because, the sugars. That's
Right.
what it boils down to, sugars. Very inflammatory and whatnot. And they cause I'm going to leave it alone, a whole another field of
Host of
issues.
issues.
Yeah. So with that, I was trying to titrate it down through the ketogenic diet. So I went 2018, all of 2019, trying to be ketogenic, making the foods similar to, standard American diet foods. It didn't work. I kept being triggered, literally being triggered, kept
Right.
having binges and whatnot. But I didn't understand that those foods that I was eating that were, being similar, and then I would take days off and have junk food. It just kept the cycle going. So
Mm-hmm.
in 2020, I decided to go carnivore for a year, right? So that's like the ultimate elimination diet, but it's not fruits and vegetables and all that
Right.
stuff. It's purely animal-based products.
Right.
And that helped me a lot until I took my first day off somewhere close to Easter in 2020. Then the cycle started over again because I was reintroducing foods that I was chemically addicted to, right? Just
Right.
addicted to them. And it was a course that I took in August of 2020, somewhere in 2020. I took a course that talked about sugar addiction, right? So it was a
Mm-hmm.
certification course. And as a part of that, I had to have the evaluation done on me. So this evaluation, sugar assessment evaluation, takes you all the way back to birth forward, so you can see where your certain periods where you may have gained a lot of weight, where you lost a lot of weight, where you were stabilized, what kind of foods you were eating, what jobs you were in, and it's like a graph that goes up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much weight did you gain? It's very there's like 70 questions, so you can't get any of them wrong, right?
Right.
Because the interviewer is asking you these questions. And with that, I was off the charts on it. I was off the charts, but this is the thing, I was still in denial. Like, oh, I can't be addicted to sugar. I can't be addicted to food. That's somebody else's. And an addict is somebody who's on the street, who's selling,
Right.
who's slanging, who, just doesn't have any morals, right? I mean, that's
Right.
what my picture of an addict is, but
Right.
I'm acceptable in society because I look like everybody else.
Right.
I'm celebrating around food, I'm crying over food, doing whatever.
Right.
So, with that assessment and stuff, I finally got it. So, my last organized binge was August 8th, 2020, but my weight had stabilized in March of 2020 at 170. So,
Wow.
even through all the distress and whatnot, I finally found a way of eating that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the rest of 2020, I just stayed strictly meat based. And, the healing process continued from there. And then 2021, I tried to reintroduce some fruits and vegetables. It was off the hook. The nuts, I couldn't do it because
Mm.
cashews, started out with a single serving of cashews because I could count the carbs, I could count the calories, whatever I needed to count. But
Right.
that single serving pack turned into 2 packs, turned into three. Before you
Mm-hmm.
knew it, I had a canister and I wasn't eating food. You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
It's kind of activating that addiction again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I immediately went back in 2021, in June of 2021, and recommitted. That's why I'm carnivore girl for life now. So it just took me being at rock bottom, God telling me, girl, you need to do something with your life because you're not going to be able to come back to this level of consciousness if you try to go 7 more years just struggling, just trying to make it.
Right. And you're pretty tall too, aren't you? Aren't you? Didn't you say you were like 5'9"? Now, this is funny, right? You
Six
are
feet, girl,
my
6 feet.
you are my virtual sister.
Yes.
we have we have yet to meet in person yet. We
Yes.
are working
Yeah.
that out, but you are like
Yeah.
6 feet tall,
Six
correct?
feet tall.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, I love the fact that your last binge you said was 2020. Is that
Like August 20th of 2020. And this is the thing. Let me just tell you this because I don't even know if you know this. I had
what?
shared it in other interviews. So August 20th, 2020, I had a major photo shoot scheduled, right? And because me and my girlfriend, we had went on like a 2-day weekend to like seaside or something like that, oceanside or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling her, girl, we can go to the Mexican restaurant. I'll just eat the meat and the cheese and the sour cream. Girl, sat down, started eating the tortilla chips and salsa. It was a wrap. Those 2 full days, I ate. Then there
Right.
was a day or two gap. And then my photo shoot was scheduled. Now look, girl, all slim, strong, and trim and tall. And I was wearing heels the whole nine, just loved it, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, my birthday's September the 1st. I'm just gonna keep this binge going, notice going, and I will resolve it before my birthday, and then everything will be hunky-dory.
Right.
Before the photo shoot, I went to QFC and got, the single size cakes, like
Mm-hmm.
the birthday cake, the
Right.
single size.
Right.
I got a couple of canisters of Pringles, and there was probably some other stuff up in there. So I ate that on the way because I didn't have to get dressed in the
Right.
outfits until I was there, right?
Right.
And did that there, and then got back. The whole time we were doing our thing at the photo shoot, I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about what was in the car. Then
Right.
I went and got like a big old thing of nachos that I had wanted for my birthday, but we're gonna try to get it done before my birthday. A big old family size, and I don't think it was that big, but it was big, of
Right.
nachos. Sat in the car and ate it. Came home like nothing had happened. How was everything? Oh, it was fine. Dusting the crust off. Then I
Right.
was supposed to go meet a friend, so I went and met a friend. And after that, I went and had teriyaki and had some other stuff. I threw down, but this is what I'm going to tell you. I
Mm-hmm.
finally got it. That was it.
Right.
So just because somebody looks unhealthy doesn't mean that they're healthy. And just because
Right.
somebody looks healthy doesn't mean that they're healthy. Right.
And you're right, absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's why I appreciate you and your honesty and
Mhm.
transparency in talking about this. I think that a lot of women may struggle with food addictions or things like that. You were able to hit what was your rock bottom and make a pivotal change in your life. But some people may need to get a little more extra help to do that, or just even maybe acknowledge it, maybe even admit to themselves that it's a problem. Because like you said, you were kind of like, wiping your mouth, like everything's fine. You can kind of hide that, right? You can hide an addiction like that and no one even knows what you're struggling with. What's some advice that you would give someone who they know that they want to start this weight loss journey, but like yourself, they need to clean house first? They need to clean their spiritual house, their mental house, and just don't know where to get started. Any advice that you have for people and how they can, start their own journey?
So this is what I want to tell you first and foremost. I'm dedicating my life to coaching and serving others, right? So however that shows up is how it shows up, whether it's on this podcast, YouTube videos, or whatever we're doing in our life, partnering together as far as collaborations or somebody that I meet on the street. It doesn't matter. That's my
Mm-hmm.
mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that a person needs to do, and to be quite honest, they don't actually need help. They actually don't need help. They can help
Mm-hmm.
themselves. If they can
Right.
help themselves just by making the decision to try to do a little bit better than what they currently are right now, what that
Mm-hmm.
better is for them, it might look different than for you and for me and the next person, right?
Right.
So just making the decision will help them to get out of the overwhelm, and they'll start to be able, the universe, whoever will come along and help them to propel forward. But this
Mm-hmm.
is the thing, if you're eating foods that wreak havoc on your mental state,
Mm-hmm.
that works against you, because when your insulin levels are high, that means your brain is operating under a lot of insulin. So when you have highs and lows, that's how your brain is working too. And
Right.
you feel crazy. You really feel
Right.
crazy. So if they can cut out some of the processed food, I would never say all of the processed food. If they could just
Mm-hmm.
titrate down,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or if they're rip it off, the band-aid off kind of person, and they
Yeah.
can abstain for, 60 days, 30 days, 15 days, just to see the difference, that's
Right.
great too. But they
Mm-hmm.
have to make the decision to start somewhere, just somewhere.
Absolutely.
There's lots of help on YouTube, and I use bibliotherapy, which we talked about a couple of segments back,
Yeah.
which is doing research, just reading, learning from other stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then doing research on their own and just extracting what's applicable to them at that given time. So if
Right.
all that a person can do is make the decision to do better, maybe introducing water into their protocol and
Mm-hmm.
cutting out soda, right?
Right.
It may not seem like a lot, but it is a lot, because then that, keeping one thing the main thing until it becomes the main thing before moving
Right.
on to another main thing, will
Mm-hmm.
help them to build confidence and
Mm-hmm.
stick to itiveness, right?
Right. I'm glad you highlight that because sometimes it can feel overwhelming for people, especially if you have yo-yo dieters that have been there, done that like a million times that feel like, here we go again. So I think that it's always hard for people to either start or even restart if they've constantly been on that kind of yo-yo roller coaster. So what you're saying is just start with something simple, maybe. You don't have to come out of the gate just doing everything. It sounds like just start somewhere. Is that pretty much what your message is and what you're
Start somewhere. Start where you know that you have confidence, like I said, with a glass of water. If you've never drank water before, but you drink 10 sodas, can you cut it down to maybe eight, right?
right,
And
right.
then 4 glasses of water, that's a
Mm-hmm.
win, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if you always go by, let me see, like if your route home is always by the McDonald's and you go through the drive-through to get whatever, you have it in the car and just to get that quick high before you go home and deal with your family, cooking, cleaning, walking the dog, whatever you have to do,
Right.
maybe take a different route. You don't have to do it
Mm-hmm.
5 days a week, but just do it 3 days a week. You're still having access to McDonald's, but
Right.
you're trying to do the, withdrawal process with the
Mm-hmm.
other 2 days, right? So
I like
whatever
that.
you can commit to, 5 minutes of walking and talking with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes of prayer, whatever you can do. But this is the thing, you have to take action.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the key thing. And so I like how you highlight that because some people are like, I have to do this and I have to do this perfectly. And so one of the things that you've said is that you started and then you had downfalls, you had moments where it didn't work out, maybe you even relapsed. It sounds like it was kind of like a process. And I think that's important to share with people so they have a realistic expectation as they're going on their own journeys. Because, women can be really hard on themselves, especially if
Yeah.
you're not where you want to be. That's why I think it's really inspiring that you open it up and tell your story, the way that you do. And now that you're coaching others. And I think that that's one thing you've highlighted too. And we talk about as coaches is your journey. It's what's best for you, but we're talking about what's worked for you in your case.
Yeah. And typically the way a coach sees life is how, the way a person sees life is how they coach others through life, right?
Right.
Because food is so personal. And I'm sure it's very personal to you from our conversations that we've had. And if I tell my clients what to eat, they will resent the fact that I'm telling them what to eat. But if
Right.
I offer them education, support, and guidance, they're adults. They will eventually ask the questions that they want to ask if I
Mm-hmm.
haven't addressed them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll extract what's pertinent to them, right?
Absolutely.
So would you
Absolutely.
rather be told what to do, or would you rather have suggestions and then ask from that, or just apply silently what you think applies to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And most
Yeah.
people are going to want the suggestions and the
Mhm.
ask, not just the tell. Because if you tell
Yeah.
someone what to do, that's what diets do.
Yes.
If you have this cabbage soup, you're going to lose weight. you know, so you probably lose weight for that week, but
Yeah.
you don't address the issues inside, and then we
Yeah.
know you just gain it all back. So I think this is good. It sounds like you did the work inside out, like the work that you did inside transform your outer being as well.
This is the thing, you don't have to necessarily be working on your inner self in your inner game. And I'm going to tell you why, because like I said, the foods that some people consume
Mm-hmm.
add to their mental overwhelm. It adds flame to the fuel, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
adds to the mental fogginess. And if they eat a protocol that reduces the inflammation, a lower carb
Right.
diet in any capacity, then they have more mental clarity, right?
Right.
And then they can start thinking a little bit better. So some people say you have to start with the diet first. You really have to start with the diet first, and then you
Right.
can work on, healing later.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
understand both ways, right? I
Right.
understand both ways. I was trying to outrun, outdo, outeat, trying to do it the other way.
Right.
But I think mine was a combination of both. When I was ready to deal with whatever's on my plate, like resentments in my relationship with my spouse, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Things like that.
Resentments, yeah, yeah. But my resentments are really like, what part did I play in this relationship? The way it
Mm.
played out, unfolded,
Mm-hmm.
and after I came to terms with that, I go, oh, he's the best person for me. right?
Right. Oh, isn't
He
that
really,
lovely?
he really is the best person for me because we live completely separate lives in the
Right.
same house. But I'm not checking in. I'm not doing this, not doing that. It is what it is,
Right.
right?
It's what works for you. Well, you have to
Yes.
have that peace in your
Yes.
home. That's a part of our mental health and our well-being, no matter what that looks
Yeah.
like. Everybody is different, but you have to
Yes.
have that as well. I think
Yes.
that it's just so amazing. And I know that we've talked about food. How important would you say exercise is to the piece of this puzzle too? We obviously know food, and I think another segment we can talk about too, Coach Rose, HA, is inflammation. You've talked about that quite a bit, and that's really a good one, something that people don't always think about when they're going on the weight loss journey. But in terms of exercise, how important would you say that is to the equation as well, along with food?
Are you saying how important is it as a part of weight loss and
A
maintenance?
part of weight loss and maintenance
Mm.
and your
I,
overall health journey.
so, because I always talk about the addict brain or addiction being one disease, but it has multiple outlets. Like you have outlets in your home, you can plug different things up and have different things going simultaneously. It's the
Right.
same thing with one addiction, one disease, but multiple outlets, right? So for
Right.
me, at 20, I discovered exercise. After I had my daughter, my husband said, you need to go to the gym, that kind of thing, because I was
Mm-hmm.
300 pounds.
Right.
And he would keep the baby and whatnot. So it wasn't that he was being rude, but he was like, hey, you need to do something.
Right.
For me, at 20 years old, exercise became another obsession. It really
Mm.
did. But I
Mm-hmm.
still stayed 300 pounds for years on end, even though I was exercising out of my mind. Okay.
Right. Right.
And but what it did for me, it helped me to feel better. It
Right.
released the endorphins. I was like, yeah, I got this. So that stuck with me all this time. So I still gained weight, even though I was obsessively working out, running marathons and half
Right.
marathons, right? I still gained weight, but the way I felt was 100% better. So,
Mm-hmm.
no, I do not believe that exercise is absolutely necessary or even needs to be considered a part of a weight loss journey.
Mm-hmm.
However, for the way you view yourself, for your self esteem, and for releasing, those endorphins and
Right.
feeling good, for that in the mental health perspective, yes, it's
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I love this. I love your journey. I love how strong you've been. I love the fact that you're so open and that you
Thank you.
share all of this with everyone because sharing is caring. It helps
Yeah.
others to not feel alone and feel like, hey, there's hope for me too. If you can do something like this, I can do it too. And one of the things that we wanted to dive into, because this is how our minds work. We want to know, okay, this is great. Got all the mental down. You did all the work, all the inside work. We want to know what you did. We want to know some key
Mm.
things, like maybe top 5 key things that you did that we can talk
Oh,
about in our next segment. Just
okay.
if you can share your
Okay.
little secrets with us, kind of like,
Hmm.
actual steps. Again, just
Yeah.
what worked for you that may help yours as well. But before we wrap it up, anything else that you'd like to add, any tidbits of wisdom or information you can impart upon us?
Well, just keep going. No matter what, just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. No matter what, keep
Right.
going. Yes.
I love that. Not giving up. I love that.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, Coach Rose AJ. You are the best. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you guys next week.